Hello, viewers. You're welcome to this lecture series on protozoans. Today's lecture will be on ciliate protozoans or the ciliates. In an earlier video, I had explained the meaning of the protozoans, that they are unicellular microscopic animal-like organisms that are characterized by heterotrophic nutrition, and they are classified into the kingdom Protoctista, the subkingdom Protozoa. And the subkingdom Protozoa has 10 phyla that are grouped into four groups: the amoeboid protozoans, the flagellate protozoans, and the ciliate protozoans. The amoeboid protozoans do not have a definite shape and use pseudopodia for locomotion, while the uh, flagellate protozoans utilize flagella for locomotion. The ciliate protozoans utilize cilia for locomotion. They make use of cilia for locomotion, while the sporozoans are not able to move because they don't have locomotor apparatus, and they also are spore-forming protozoans. So in our discussion today, we'll look at the ciliate protozoans. Now, what are the ciliate protozoans? Now, ciliates basically are organisms that are known to utilize cilia for locomotion. They make use of cilia for locomotion. The cilia are hair-like structures that are found on the surfaces of the membranes of these organisms. Ciliates are single-celled organisms that at some stage in their life cycle possess cilia. They possess cilia for locomotion, and the cilia are short, hair-like organelles used for locomotion and food gathering. They, just like the pseudopodia, the cilia are also utilized for locomotion and food gathering. The phylum Ciliophora is the sole phylum of ciliate protozoans. Okay, only one phylum has the ciliate protozoans, and that's the phylum Ciliophora. The phylum Ciliophora. So I want to discuss the phylum Ciliophora in detail. The phylum Ciliophora or ciliates consists of a group of protozoans that possess large numbers of hair-like organelles called cilia. Cilia are used in crawling and swimming, attachment, feeding, and sensation. They are used in swimming, crawling, attachment, feeding, and sensation. They can use them to swim. They can use the cilia to crawl at the bottom of the water body or on the substratum. They can also use them for attachment in the case of the stocked ciliate. Then they also use the cilia for feeding, and for sensation, they have a sensory function. The ciliates are heterotrophic. They are heterotrophs. They eat organisms such as bacteria and algae. They sweep the food by their modified oral cilia into their oral groove. Okay, the cilia, their modified oral cilia actually aid them in this feeding process by creating a water current that sweeps the food into their oral groove or the mouth. The food is moved with the help of the cilia through the mouth pore into the gullet, which forms food vacuoles. Okay, the cilia moves the food. Okay, the food is moved with the aid of the cilia through the mouth pore into the gullet, and which eventually forms food vacuoles, and the food is digested within the food vacuoles. Some ciliates do not have a mouth, and they feed by absorption. That's osmotrophy. They are unable to ingest their food because they do not have cytostome or the cell mouth, and as such, they feed through osmotrophy by absorbing their food into their cytoplasm. Some others are predatory and feed on other protozoa, especially ciliates. There are some ciliates that are predatory. They feed on other protozoa. Some ciliates also parasitize animals. They parasitize animals. Examples of ciliates include free-living forms like Paramecium caudatum, Stentor polymorpha, verticilla, campanula. Then we have the parasitic forms like Balantidium coli. Balantidium coli. There are three types of ciliate protozoans. They are free-swimming ciliates, crawling ciliates, and stalked ciliates. Three types of ciliate based on their mode of movement or locomotion. We have the free-swimming ciliates, the crawling ciliates, and the stalked ciliates. All of them use cilia for locomotion and capturing food. Examples of free-swimming ciliates include Lutinotus species and Paramecium species. Examples of crawling ciliates are Aspidisca species and Euplotes species. Now here it's a picture of Paramecium cordatum, and it's the most studied ciliate protozoan. It's the most popular of the ciliate protozoans. Now, this ciliate protozoan has cilia, which are hair-like structures that are found on the surface of the cell membrane. They are found on the surface of the cell membrane. These ones at this other side are actually for locomotion, while the cilia that are around the gullet aid in feeding by creating water current that propels the food into the gullet or the oral groove. And this cilia, the food particle that's being pushed in eventually forms a food vacuole, and the food is being digested within the food vacuole. They also have contractile vacuoles, okay, anterior contractile vacuoles and posterior contractile vacuole. Two contractile vacuole. They have two nuclei, one macronucleus and one micronucleus, and they have a cytoproct. Cytoproct is cell anus. It's the anus of the cell. It's called the cytoproct. Then the mouth of the cell is the cytostome. The mouth of the cell is called the cytosome. The membrane of the cell is made up of pellicle. That's a pellicle that encloses the cell. And basically, the ciliates are known to the various feeders on even other ciliates. Now I want to look at the reproduction in ciliates. Reproduction in ciliates. Sexual reproduction among the ciliated protozoans takes the form of conjugation. The type of sexual reproduction the ciliates carry out is called conjugation. Conjugation occurs only between compatible mating strains within a species, and each species may contain many mating strains. Okay, only compatible mating strains within a species can carry out conjugation. It's a form of sexual reproduction among the ciliate protozoans. A sexual reproduction that occurs among the ciliate protozoans. Before conjugation occurs, special chemical signals called gametes are released by some ciliates. The gametes cause compatible mating strains to undergo processes that facilitate conjugation. These chemical substances, the chemical signals known as gametes, are released by the mating strains, and the gametes cause compatible mating strains to undergo processes that facilitate conjugation. In other ciliates, such as Paramecium, gametes are bound to the cell surface and elicit their responses when the ciliate make physical contact. Okay, the gametes, some of them release the gametes into the surrounding environment, the water, which actually facilitate conjugation. In others, the gametes are found in the cell surface and it only elicits response in the opposite mating strain when it gets in contact with it. So those are two distinctions there. So this is the process of sexual reproduction in Paramecium cordatum. The process of sexual reproduction that occurs in Paramecium cordatum. First of all, the gametes are released, and then the two mating strains come together, the two compatible mating strains, and then the they form what we call the cytoplasmic bridge. The cytoplasmic bridge. So they form a cytoplasmic bridge. Then in the second stage, meiosis produces 4 haploid micronuclei, 3 of which disintegrate. So meiosis occurs, and the meiosis produces 4 haploid micronuclei, and then 3 of such haploid micronuclei will then disintegrate. Okay, so while they are still conjugated in the third stage, each remaining micronucleus divides by mitosis. Each of the remaining micronuclei now divide by mitosis. And then fourth, the conjugate pair swaps micronuclei. They now swap the micronuclei. Okay, they swap. One receives the other's micronuclei, and the other receives 2. Then in the fifth stage, the haploid micronuclei fuse, forming a diploid micronucleus. They now fuse, and the fusion form a diploid micronucleus. Then in the sixth stage, the micronucleus undergoes 3 rounds of mitosis, producing 8 micronuclei. Then the original macronucleus disintegrates, and 4 of the micronuclei become macronuclei. Okay, they become macronuclei. Then 2 rounds of cell division produce 4 daughter cells, and these 4 daughter cells now mature to become adults. And then when they are matured, they now carry out sexual reproduction, and the cycle continues. That's basically how the paramecium undergoes sexual reproduction. It's a type of sexual reproduction called conjugation. When no suitable mating partner is available, ciliates may undergo a form of conjugation called orthogamy. Okay, when there's no mating partner or strain, this ciliate can undergo orthogamy, in which all of the nuclear processes described above occur, but because only one individual is involved, there is no exchange of gametic nuclei. Instead, the 2 gametic nuclei within the cell unite to form the restored micronucleus. So that's what we call orthogamy. Thanks a lot for watching. So far, we have discussed about the ciliate protozoans, and we have said they are protozoans that utilize cilia for locomotion. Typical example is Paramecium cordatum, and the ciliate protozoans of 3 types. We have the free-swimming ciliate protozoans, the crawling, and the stalked. And the cilia are actually used for feeding and for locomotion. And the ciliate protozoans reproduce mainly through conjugation, sexual reproduction. That's called conjugation. Thanks for watching this video. I implore you to continue to watch more videos from my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and enjoy watching more interesting videos.